Imagine walking down the main street of your town. At first glance, everything looks normal. The lights are on, the open signs are flipped. But look closer. The menus are shorter. The staff is thinner. The lights are slightly dimmer to save on the electric bill. This is the sound of a silent retreat. In 2026, the headlines say inflation has cooled to 3.3%. On paper, the economists are celebrating. But in the back offices of independent hardware stores, local cafes, and family-owned manufacturing plants, the mood isn't celebratory. It's defensive. Small businesses aren't expanding. They aren't hiring. They are hunkering down. They are moving into a survivalist crouch, waiting for a storm that the official data says has already passed. Today, we're looking at the affordability crisis. We're going behind the 3.3% figure to show you the real math of survival. We're exploring why the backbone of the economy is currently holding its breath and what happens when it finally has to exhale. The 3.3% illusion. To understand the crisis, we have to talk about the laggard effect. When the government announces inflation is at 3.3%, they are talking about the rate of increase. They aren't saying prices are coming down, they're just saying they're climbing more slowly. But for a small business, the damage is cumulative. Think of it like a marathon runner. In 2021, the wind was at their back. In 2022 and 2023, they hit a massive uphill climb, 9% inflation. By the time they reach 2026, even if the hill levels out to a 3.3% grade, the runner is already exhausted. Their muscles are cramping. Their hydration is gone. Small businesses have exhausted their price hike ammunition. You can only raise the price of a cup of coffee so many times before the customer decides to stay home. In 2026, the gap between what it costs to make a product and what a customer is willing to pay has narrowed to a razor's edge. This is the affordability trap, the psychology of hunkering down. What does hunkering down actually look like? It's a shift in mindset from growth to preservation. In the decade leading up to 2020, the mantra was scale or die. Take out a loan, open a second location, disrupt the market. But in the 3.3% era, debt is no longer cheap. Interest rates have stayed higher for longer, and the cost of capital is a ghost that haunts every balance sheet. Psychologically, business owners are suffering from certainty fatigue. They've lived through a pandemic, a supply chain collapse, and a historic inflationary spike. Their risk appetite is gone. They are cutting the extras. They are pausing R&D. They are letting natural attrition shrink their workforce instead of hiring replacements. They aren't closing their doors yet, but they are pulling in the shutters. They are becoming lean to the point of malnutrition. The threshold of pain. Here is the question that should keep you up at night. If small businesses, which provide nearly 50% of all private sector jobs, are hunkering down, who is going to fuel the next economic cycle? When the little guys stop taking risks, the economy loses its engine. In the second half of this script, we're going to look at the hidden killers, the costs that the 3.3% figure doesn't show. We're talking about commercial insurance, the lease cliff, and the brutal reality of the 2026 labor market. But before we do, if you care about the real economy, not just the one reflected in the stock market, subscribe to this channel. We don't just read the charts, we talk to the people behind them. Join the community and hit that bell. Now, let's look at the lease cliff that is about to hit thousands of small businesses. The hidden killers, beyond the CPI. The Consumer Price Index CRTI measures milk and gasoline. It doesn't measure the commercial insurance spike of 2025 and 2026. In many states, small business insurance premiums have jumped by 20 to 40%. Why? Because the cost to repair a building or settle a liability claim has skyrocketed due to those previous years of high inflation. Then there's the lease cliff. Many small businesses signed 5 or 10-year leases in 2016 or 2021. As those leases come up for renewal in 2026, they are facing a rent shock. The landlord isn't asking for a 3.3% increase, they're asking for a 30% market correction. For a business already hunkering down, this is the breaking point. This is why you see for lease signs on streets that seem busy. The business didn't fail because they ran out of customers. They failed because the infrastructure of staying open became too expensive. The labor stalemate. Then we have the most complex part of the 2026 puzzle, the labor stalemate. Inflation at 3.3% means workers are still feeling the pinch. Their rent is up, their groceries are up. They need higher wages just to tread water. But the small business owner, facing 3.3% inflation on their own supplies and 30% on their rent, literally has no more money to give. This creates an efficiency war. Business owners are turning to AI and automation not because they want to be futuristic, but because they can't afford a human being anymore. From QR code menus to automated inventory systems, the hunker-down strategy involves replacing variable costs with fixed costs. The zombie business phenomenon. We are seeing the rise of zombie small businesses. These are companies that are making just enough to pay their bills and their interest, but not enough to ever grow or innovate. They are in a state of static survival. This is the danger of the 3.3% era. On the surface, the economy looks stable because these businesses haven't died. The RE orientation, the new survivalists. But it's not all doom and gloom. Within the hunker-down movement, a new type of entrepreneur is emerging, the ultra-lean operator. These are business owners who have mastered the micro-pivot. They are ditching physical storefronts for ghost kitchens or mobile services, the macro consequence. As we look toward the end of 2026, the hunker-down strategy will have a macroeconomic consequence. If everyone stops spending at the same time, we get a paradox of thrift. My spending is your income. If the small business stops buying new equipment, the equipment manufacturer stops hiring. The heart of the street. The next time you walk down that main street, don't just look at the signs. Think about the math happening behind the glass. Think about the owner who is choosing between a new oven and keeping their head chef. If you found this analysis helpful, please share it. The more we understand the real economy, the better we can navigate it. Tell me in the comments, have you noticed the hunker down in your town? Are your favorite spots cutting back hours or raising prices? Let's get a real-world temperature check. Subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next one.